Hey guys, today I am here to tell you how it's like to work at a Big Four consulting company. And in terms of Big Four, I'm talking about Ernst & Young, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, and Kpmg. In Big Four, you have three different types of branches. You have tax and assurance and advisory. So I work in the advisory field, specifically cybersecurity and technology consulting. So specifically, my experience is going to be around that, but I feel like it can be applied towards the whole organization. All right, let's get started with work. So at work, it is definitely a fast-paced working environment where you have to be client chargeable a certain number of time. So in terms of client chargeable, given you have certain responsibilities within the firm and at the client site, you want to be billable mostly at the client site. And typically, you're looking at around 80 to 90% of the time, depending on your level. So in a typical work week of 40 hours, you're expected to bill at least 40 hours, but it is not unheard of to be billing 50 hours and even 70 hours of work. A lot of the clients that we work for are huge, given that it is a Big Four accounting firm. That means you're going to have like Fortune 500 and even Fortune 100 companies. With these companies, they're trying to push a lot of strategic direction and all, so they're going to have some really unique problems that you get to deal with. Yay! So some of these places within cybersecurity where I work, that can be broken out into two arms. You have threat and vulnerability, and then you have identity and access management. So in threat and vulnerability, you're talking a lot about a lot of assessments. A lot of those projects are shorter. So you're going to have a lot of short projects throughout the year. But in my side, identity and access management, I actually work with implementation and operations. And typically for a client to implement a system, that is a year-long or 2-year-long project. So for me, I have a lot of long projects rather than the other side of the house. Now, in this company, you get to grow your own way. You can learn at a normal pace if you really want to. Like, you can be the standard person, show up to work, do your work as you absolutely need to, and then leave. Or you can be the one that quickly moves up the company, and you could become a trusted source on your project. Learn how to handle what the client's dealing with, learn how to handle internal stuff. So in my first year, if I recall, I was working a lot on development, like Java and SQL, all that stuff. And then the installation of the systems. Then as I moved up, I started learning things like how to handle the engagement financials and scope and client meetings. So in this year, I am able to lead a project end to end. So I'm talking about the project sales, the planning, the resources, the financials, the day-to-day, and then the wrap-up and closing of the project. So yay, there's a lot to do. Now, the job titles in Big Four are very similar across the board if you jump around. So you're going to start off as an associate, and then a senior associate, then a manager, a senior manager, director, and then partner or managing director. And around these levels, associate and senior associate, they do a lot of like PowerPoints and day-to-day stuff. And then as you move up, managers will deal with like margin and resources and execution. And then as you move up from there, directors and partners, you primarily focus on sales, like how much sales you can bring in. In terms of staff structure, I have, well, people like to ask me, Edward, who's your boss? Who do you report to? Well, it's kind of tough to say because if you're on a project, you have your manager and your leader. But then you also have a career coach and a relationship leader. So these people, career coach and relationship leader, they lead your career throughout the company that you're in. They will help you meet your goals year to year and your promotion and all that stuff. So in terms of getting an opinion, you want to get it from your career coach or your relationship leader as to how you're going to move around the company. Now, if you have other questions, you have a buddy for that you can pull aside and ask informally, hey, what are your thoughts on this? In terms of travel, people like to say, I travel a lot, that's true. You do travel a lot. When you start, you'll probably travel a lot depending on where you're at. You're not a trusted resource yet. No one really knows you at the client. They really want to see your face. You do have to travel. If you find a local project, like if you live in Dallas or Atlanta, you probably may not have to travel. But when I started, I was in Los Angeles and I traveled a lot. So of course, you're going to travel until you become a trusted source or until you run out of budget at your project. This means you're going to have a lot of short weekends, like you're going to have to fly to the client on a Sunday, maybe Monday, and then you'll return Thursday, but you'll still have to work Friday, and then repeat that. Having been here a while, my clients are okay whether or not I'm in the office, so that's pretty cool. It's getting flexible over time. And in terms of clients, I've had clients as close as 20 minutes away driving, and some as far as 4 to 5 hours across the country where I'd have to take an overnight if I didn't fly on Sunday. In this job, you really have to love learning, but that goes for any job. Given it's a tech industry and it's constantly evolving, always follow up on the news, Ars Technica, Business Week. See what challenges your client is facing and try to attend to those challenges, and you'll be successful. You really need to be outspoken as well. If you're introverted, learn to get out a lot more because you're going to need to go to these functions where you mingle with partners and directors and people your level and really get your name out there so people know what you're doing. Because this is how you're going to get projects. Like, you're going to start off getting a project thanks to human resources, but as you move around, you're going to have a set of people that you're probably going to work with and you're going to go project to project together. If you don't know anybody, it's going to be tough to find a project. Now, aside from this, you're expected to volunteer on top of your client work. So, yes, you're working 40 to 50 hours in your client, but in order to move up in the company, you're expected to volunteer and reinvest in the company's initiatives, whether it's proposal or like a lunch and learn or teaching staff or recruiting. You're going to need to do that at least 100 hours a year. So now I'm going to explain to you some benefits. Let's compare. Industry, which is jobs outside of consulting, and then consulting itself. In consulting, you're going to start probably the same as industry, like 60, 65, 70,000. And then from there, you're going to move up. So when you move to the next level in an industry, you're probably going to get like a 3% raise. This is industry, okay? And then in consulting, you're going to move up the next level, probably like 10%. So you guys see the difference already. And then as you move up, you can get more and more increases over time. And that will really carry your earnings potential forward. In other benefits, they also talk about contributing to your 401k. So take a look at the different companies. All of their 401k contributions are online. Like some will say 10% of X or 20% of Y. So just be mindful, and when you're comparing all these benefits, the big four consulting firms are pretty much the same. And then in terms of healthcare, it is subsidized, so you're going to pay, probably a difference. It's going to be different depending on which plan you choose, like low deductible, medium, and high deductible. And if you choose a certain plan, they contribute to your HSA, which really helps. So like if you don't have to go to the doctor a lot, then you have an HSA account. So that's pretty cool. Aside from this, in terms of phone, you can upgrade like every X number of months, like 12 months or 24 months. But the cool thing is you're not really paying much money out of your pocket. So like let's say you want an iPhone X, the company will put up like 70% of that and then you pay the rest. So that's pretty nifty. You don't have to pay the full amount for that phone. And then travel. Given that you're traveling a lot, it's easy to rack up a lot of status and miles. So that means, well, for me, in my first year, I got platinum status on Hertz, SPG, and American Airlines, and I've been able to redeem for free flights, hotel nights, and even upgrades to like first class. So that's really cool. In terms of days off, you get like 10 holidays a year that covers 4th of July and Thanksgiving, and then like the week off during Christmas to New Year. So that's pretty cool. And you even get a couple of long weekends, and then there's also about 15 days of vacation time when you start, and that just increases the more you work for the company. Aside from this, some companies are unleashing a new student loan paydown program, so that really helped me pay down a lot of my student loans. And then when you reach a certain level, they take that benefit away. So use that while you can when you're lower, when you start early in the company. Lastly, given that the companies have a lot of big clients, they partner with those clients to give you big savings. So like let's say you're looking for a car, you could partner with TrueCar and then you can get $8,000 off the new Maserati that you've been looking for because you're a cool new consultant now. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to share this experience and benefits and all that. I really hope you guys find this beneficial. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what I've covered or didn't cover. Ask me a question and I can cover it in a future video as well. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.